So now let's integrate one more Java concept here. So which we have already discussed. So like long back, right? So we have learned the concept called as an loops. So what is the need of the loops? So I told like whenever you are going to do some repetitive action, the loop comes into the picture. So this is the syntax of the loop which we have learned. So like we will be using the keyword called as an for, followed by the initialization, condition and the increment. Now with the help of the loop, I am going to iterate all the values inside the dropdown. So I need to fetch this value. So let's say like there's a drop down having many values like all category, Alexa skill, Amazon device, Amazon fashion, etc. So we need to iterate all the drop down values which is present inside this category, which means like we are going to do some repetitive action inside this drop down to retrieve the all values. So whenever the repetitive action comes into the picture, like for sure like we should use the loop. Now let me use the concept of the loop over here. Okay, now here I'm just using the concept of the loop. So for as per syntax we are going to initialization. So let's say int I is equal to 0 and pose that like we need to provide the condition, so followed by the increment operator, and then we will be creating the block for the for loop. So what is the need of the condition? So only based upon the condition, the loop will execute, which means like the number of times, how many number of times we need to execute this loop. So in our condition, we need to execute the loop based upon the drop down value which is available inside this drop down, because we are going to retrieve all the drop down values which is present over here. So how we are going to achieve this, or how we are going to count the number of values? So now let's go to the structure of the DOM. So let me right click and inspect, and we know this is the parent node. So this is the parent node which is available. So now if I expand this parent node, the parent contain multiple child node, and we need to count the number of child node, because the number of child node directly indicates the number of drop down values. And how we can count the number of child node in the sense, if you see like it is starting with the tag called as an option. So like all the child node will start with the tag called as an option, which means like if we count the option tag, we will get to know the number of child elements which are available inside it. So how we are going to count this tag in the sense, like during the locator concept, like you are aware like there is an another locator called as a tagName. So which means like how the id work with the id attribute, class work with the class attribute, in similar way. So the tagName locator will work with the respective tag name mentioned in the node. So we can count the tags with the help of the tag name locator. But here we are going to count all the tag, because like we know as of now we have used only one method called as an find element. But if we use the find element, so the find element will always find the first matching element, which means like it will return the result as 1. So even though multi-matching results are available, it will return the result as a 1. But here we need to count all the elements, right? So whenever you need to consider all the element, then we should use the method called as an find elements. So the find elements will consider all matching element, whereas this find element will consider only the first matching element. Here we need to count the all matching node. So as we are going to count the all matching node, So we should use the method called as an find element. So now I'm going to use the WebDriver, and with the help of the WebDriver, I'm going to find multiple elements. So the multiple elements can be find only with the help of the find elements method. So till now we have used only the find element. So now I'm using the elements method, the plural form of the element. So the reason is like I need to count all the matching element. And how we are going to count the matching element based upon the tag name. So I'm selecting the locator called as an by dot tag name, and I'm this tag name is a parameterized method. So we should provide the tag name. So the tag name mentioned here is like option. So we are going to count the option tag. So how we are going to count the option tag in the sense like we are having some inbuilt method called as an size. So whenever we use the size method, it will return the number of result which is available. But if I use this, if I use driver.find element, if I count the option tag, so you all aware I told this driver will find the element in the entire DOM structure, which means it will consider all the option tag which is present from the head to tail. But we need to count the option tag which is present only inside this select tag. So which means like here, rather than counting the element with the help of the WebDriver, we are going to use the web element because we have already created the web element is right. So what is the variable name of the web element? We call it as a select category. So I'm just using the web element. We are counting the element inside the web element. So now it will count the number of option tag which is present inside the web element, and it will return the size. So if it is of an string, so like if it is of an text, it will the data type will be like kind of an um, if it is of an get text, so it is a string, so we stored in a string. If it is of an size, okay, so then we should store in a integer. So let's say I'm just storing, I'm giving a variable name as like tag count or drop count. Okay, so now we have counted the option tag. So for now we get to know the size of the drop down, and we can inject the size over here. So I less than drop down count. So now this loop will execute based upon the number of child nodes which are available. So we are going to iterate the child node. So now we need to extract the text, right? So how we are going to extract the text? So in order to extract the text, so we will be using the method called as an get text. So with the help of the web element, so we are going to find the element with the help of the tag name. So whatever the code which we have used, so I'm going to use the same thing inside the loop. So only difference is like, so whenever we are using the loop, so we are incrementing the value, which is nothing but we are passing the value of I only with the help of the I value. Like we are going to retry the each and everything, which means like in an array, like if you see like the array has a different index called as a 0 1 2 3 etc. So the 0th index indicates it's a 45, the first index indicates a 78. In similar way, like I told here, the index will start from the 0. So like if I use the 0th index, it will extract the text called as an all category, and this is the first index, second index, third index. And how we are going to pass the index value in the sense with the help of the get method. Okay, so now in this I'm going to use the method called as an get, and then we are going to pass the index. We are going to pass the index value with the help of the variable called as an I, and we are going to extract the text in the respective node. So in order to extract the text, I'm going to use the method called as an get text. So the get text is a string. I'm going to store in it in a string data type. So string, I'm just giving a variable name as an val. If I print the val, the corresponding drop down value will be get printed. So as it is returning the numerical value, okay, so I'm storing in an integer data type. So what I had did, so we need to iterate the drop down values. So whenever the repetitive action comes into the picture, we are going to use the loop. So we know the syntax of the loop. So initialization, condition, and the increment. So we need to set the condition. So only based upon the condition, so the particular loop will execute. So here the condition is like we need to extract all the text value which is present in the drop down, which is nothing but, so we need to count the all the child node, because like the child node contains the drop down values. So if we count the child node, we can set the condition. So how we are going to count the child node, in the sense, with the help of the find elements method. Like I'm using the find elements method. I'm going there is another locator called as a tag name. With the help of the tag name, so we are going to count it up. So we should use the find elements, because the find elements will find all matching element. And where we are going to find this tag name, in the sense, only inside the specific node. So when the specific node comes into the picture, like we should always use the web element. So we have already created the web element. I'm using the web element and I'm counting the option tag only inside the web element. So in order to extract the result, so we should use the method called as an size of. So whenever we use the method called as an size of, it will return the count. So the count is nothing but it's of a numerical value, and I'm storing it in an integer data type. Okay, so I'm giving the integer data type and I'm setting it a condition. And suppose that I'm using the same line. Now instead of the size of the size method, with the help of the get method, I'm passing the index value. And suppose that in the respective index, I'm extracting the text and I'm storing in a string, and I'm going to execute it up. So how the loop execute, you all aware. In order for easy understanding, so let me add the debug points. So like whatever the concept which you have learned early, so in the similar way, like I'm adding the debug points, so you will get to know, so how it is working up. And even like if you need to see the count of the drop down value, so I'm just adding the sysout statement. I'm again repeating, the sysout statement is just for the user reference in the real time. So you should not use this sysout statement anywhere. So now I'm going to run this runner file with the help of the debugger. Okay, so now as we have used the debugger mode, so you could see, oh sorry, I have run in the run mode, right? But anyhow, you could be able to see it has retrieved all the result. So now let me run in the debugger mode, so that you will understand much better, so how the loop works. Okay, so now the drop down value is selected, and pose that, you could see, as we have added the debugger, so the execution is under the count under our control. So you could see the drop down count, which means the number of option tag which is available inside the respective node is like 44. So it will check the condition. So 0 less than 44, so obviously the condition is true, right? So when it comes to as the condition is true, so it will step into the particular loop, and in the value of I, so the 0 will be passed. So the get of 0 indicates, which is nothing but it will point to the 0th node. So what it is present in the 0th node, here we are having the text called as an all category, and it will retrieve the text called as an all category. So just if I resume the program, so you could able to see, so it is retrieving the value called as an all category. So during the next run of the loop, so you are aware, like the increment operator will increase the value of I. So I told the increment operator will every time increase the value of I. So now the value of I will be changed to 1, and it will check the condition. So 1 less than 44, so again the condition is true. If the condition is true, it will step into the loop, and here the value of I will be like kind of an 1. So what it is present in the first index, so obviously like Alexa skill. So if you just compare, like the Alexa skill will be present in the first index, and in similar way the loop will keep on executing. So during each and every run, the value of I will be getting incremented, and it will checking the condition. And if the condition is true, okay, the particular block will execute, which means the loop will keep on executing so till as the condition is satisfied. So you could see like it is retrieving the different values like the Amazon Fresh, etc., which means like the loop will execute for 44 times because like we are having the drop down count as 44. So by this way, like we are retrieving the values at one stage. What happened, the value of I will become 45. It will compare 45 less than 45. Obviously, like the condition is false. Whenever the condition is false, the loop will terminate. So the loop will execute so till the condition is true. So as the condition is true, so the loop will be executing. Okay, so this is how like we will be implementing the loops in the real time. So moving forward in all the examples, so we are going to integrate this loop. Suppose that like you will get the clear picture, like you will be get familiarized so how to use the loop. Okay, so the key thing is like always understand. So don't simply code, like don't create a web element, don't just try to replicate my same coding. So try to understand so why we are doing it. So here why I'm using the loop. So I need to do the repetitive action, so I am using the loop. If I need to do the repetitive action, like I need the number of drop down values. As I need the count of the drop down values, I'm going to count the drop down. How I'm going to count the drop down? I'm going to use the tag name. So like we need to consider the all matching result. As it is an all matching result, I'm using the find elements. So with the help of the find elements, I'm injecting the tag name and I'm counting the tag. And how we are going to count the tag? With the help of the size method. So as it is returning the count, I'm storing in the integer. But here I'm going to count only inside the specific node and not inside the all node. So if it is a specific node, obviously web element come to the picture. So we have already created the web element for the respective node, and I'm using the web element dot find elements. So by this way, like we are restricting the usage of the WebDriver and we are searching the elements only inside the specific node. So even like this is a static dropdown. So the static dropdown can be handled only with the help of the select class, and in order to use one class in other class, so we need to create an object for the same. So I'm just creating an object, and the select class accept the web element as a input. So that is why I created the web element. So yeah, as if it is accept the different thing, so we should create accordingly. So we are injecting the web element. So then whatever the action we are going to do with the help of the method called as and select by int text, select by visible text, or select by value, it will specifically look only inside the web element because we have restricted the usage, and the drop down can be handled with the help of the select by int text or the select by visible text or select by the value. Okay, so always prefer to use select by value. As a select by value, look for an value attribute. So because like in the real time world, so the index may get changed at any time. So whenever the developers add the new drop down value, so the index will be get changed, and whenever even the developer can change the text value. Okay, so it is always good to use the select by value. Okay, so this is how like we will be like selecting the value from the static dropdown, as well as we can retrieve the value from the static dropdown. So till now we haven't done any validation. Suppose that what we are going to do. So as of now, like we have just printed the statement. I already told the print statement is just for the user reference. So moving forward in the further session, like we are going to store whatever the text we are extracted, we are going to store in some concept in Java called as an collections. So there is something called as a list set map. We are going to store those values and then we are going to do the validations. Okay, so this is the key flow which we will be doing as part of inside the framework.